buy or refinance your existing.
I'm Natalie Bonner.
And again, welcome to Wake Up Cullman. So, between yesterday and today, we've had some pretty, well, same but still very different things going on.
Are you talking about Rahal on Saturday?
Yes.
Yes. We had another bomb threat. Yeah.
Why, Cullman? Why?
Who knows? So Walmart had that issue, and they were shut down for 2 hours. And then Rahal
finds. Now, according to the story, Rahal employees discovered a note that alluded to a potential bomb explosion at the plant. But the interesting thing about the story is that they found it in the bathroom.
Yes, and apparently only employees have access to that bathroom. So
for some strange reason, an employee stated decided it would be a fantastic idea to drop a bomb threat in a toilet or a trash can, or just post it on the wall somewhere like a sticky note. They didn't specify.
I don't know if it was a sticky note, but either way, the situation was handled, and everyone was fine. I guess it's just a mere coincidence that both of those situations happened this past weekend.
They stated that a lot of incidences like this lead to a potential of copycatters, people who see that someone has done something and they think it would be entertaining to follow in suit with that. So they continue to just kind of disturb and cause general disturbance to the public.
Yes.
So we sarcastically thank that individual, because it's fantastic that you want to brighten everyone's day with something scary, but we'd appreciate it if it would stop.
Yes, we definitely want everyone to be safe, and things like that are just scary.
Yeah,
it's really scary.
Especially in times like these, when that's a potential thing. It's not a fun joke.
No, it's not. Definitely not. But in other news, we've also, have you heard about Cullman County Detention Center's prices lately?
I have heard about that and heard some general complaints from the costliness of such.
Mm-hmm. It currently costs about $7.50 for a 30-minute visit at the Cullman County Detention Center, and they'll be decreasing those prices in January to 25 cents, and then in January of 2017, they're going to go down to 21 cents. But, for 30 minutes, $7.50, for a lot of families, that's pretty pricey to see, your loved ones that are unfortunately
to come and visit
inmates,
someone that you love in something, going to visit. Oh, I have to pay you $30 to visit my own relative.
Yeah, it's an unfortunate situation all around. But, with those costs decreasing, hopefully that will be a little bit less of a burden on those families with loved ones that are incarcerated. So.
Yeah, hopefully the price shifts will really be incentive for people to understand, the situation that those people are going through. I mean, understandably, they're in there for a reason, obviously, but it's a reform. It's not a punishment.
Right.
They're in there. They want to see their family. The only thing that they can get through is through encouragement.
Yeah,
and it's difficult
absolutely.
to encourage when it costs something. So
definitely.
Now's the point of the show where we like to tell you to go and look at our Facebook page. We have some wonderful prizes that you can win for going in and eventually later in the show calling in and telling us what the sponsor of the day is. Go and check that out. We have some awesome prizes, and speaking of those prizes, let's take a look at what those are today. You can win a large 5-topping pizza from Cullman Pizza Hut. And you could win a family barbecue pack from Mad Dog Mike's Famous Barbecue, which includes a pound of meat, 2 16-ounce sides, and 4 buns. Definitely give us a call at 256-734-7399. And again, that's 256-734-7399. Give us a call. Those prizes are fantastic, and you don't want to miss out on this opportunity.
Definitely. And now it's time for our Facebook friend of the day, who is going to be Marilyn Haynes Eccles. And for being our Facebook friend, we would like to give Marilyn a free large barbecue sandwich from Mad Dog Mike's Famous Barbecue.
Love those sandwiches. I actually had a gentleman bring that by work yesterday.
Oh,
I thought
really?
that was pretty funny.
That's
He
pretty,
came in
they
with
brought
one.
it into Starbucks?
They brought it in. It's fantastic. And it smells so good. Like I can't get over how good it does smell.
I know, it's definitely delicious. We have so many wonderful barbecue places in town, and actually, I don't know if you know, but the state of Alabama releases a theme every year, and this year is actually the year of Alabama barbecue. So,
Well, do you think it would be appropriate if like they started selling like barbecue smelling candles? Because I feel like that would be a thing.
I feel like that's already a thing.
Is it a thing?
Yeah,
Can somebody tell me if that's a thing? Because I would buy
I'm
that
pretty sure
candle.
it's a thing. I've watched a lot of Shark Tank, and I think it's
Barbecue
a thing.
smelling candles.
Oh, they've had.
Do you like macaroni
every,
and cheese? We have a macaroni and cheese candle.
They do. They have like every type of candle that you could ever want.
He just sits around and figures out how to make this stuff.
I know. Yeah. Well, stay with us. We are going to have our special guest is going to be Waid Harbison, and he
wonderful guy.
is the marketing director for Cullman City Parks and Rec. So we'll be right back with him.
To buy or refinance your existing mortgage. Let's work together in these difficult times to make it better. The Mortgage Center.
Hi, I'm Jay Mullins with Premier Bank.
And I'm Jacob Mullins.
For more than 26 years, we've been providing friendly personal banking services to the citizens of Cullman and surrounding counties. We continue to provide new and improved services to our customers, and we even have a new look. So come by and see us at any of our 9 convenient locations. And remember, the same friendly personal service, and we're open on Saturdays.
With classic bolognese behind you, there are racks of lamb ahead. There are tartlets to take on, and crazy knife skills to perfect. There is you and your muse, the appliance brand more chefs choose. Chefs choose KitchenAid for their homes more than any other brand. And when every machine does incredible things, there's so much more to make.
Welcome back, and we are with our guest now, Mr. Waid Harbison of the Cullman Parks and Recreation Center. How are you today?
I'm great. How are y'all this morning?
Doing well.
We are
We
doing great.
appreciate you coming on the show.
Absolutely.
So why don't you start us off? Why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself? How long have you been in Cullman?
Well, I have lived in Cullman all of my life. I grew up here, was raised here, and obviously I loved our park and rec growing up. I spent a lot of time at our park and rec facilities and centers, and it's kind of funny to watch. When I was a little kid, a lot of this construction and stuff going on from, when I was a little kid. I remember playing baseball at Engle Park before there was ever a Field of Miracles over there. And I remember when they first started clearing all those woods over there, and everybody was, what in the world are they doing? What's going on over here? This is so cool. What are they doing? This has just always been this big, thick woods, and it's funny now because you go through there and you got the aquatic center beside it and things like that. So it's very neat. But I started working for Parks and Rec when I was 14 years old, just as a summer job. And I laugh now because the labor laws have changed. You can't even start working at 14 years old in Park and Rec now. So I started when I was 14 doing scorekeeping and things like that over at Heritage Park. And I worked maintenance at the ball fields over at the Field of Miracles, which was really cool because my first year or two that I worked there, they were doing the construction on the aquatic center. So I actually saw that go from pretty much the ground up. Every day came in and watched a little bit of progress on that. So very neat project to watch from start to finish. Really, really cool to see how big something like that comes. And of course, I'm just sitting across the street here, haven't been in here, walked in this thing, and you're thinking, this is really, really cool for Cullman, So
Definitely.
Really, really proud of that project that we did. Obviously, really, really good stuff there.
You stated you started at 14 working.
Yes.
How did you eventually get to the position you have now?
Well, I was in the right place at the right time, really, with a lot of things. I just kind of really was, and I'll tell you, it was a couple of good people that kind of supported me along the way too. But when I was in high school, I took a business class, and did some marketing classes, and I just really enjoyed marketing. And so we had someone that was a marketing director for Park and Rec. She was actually going to be taking over the job of managing the aquatic center when it opened up. So a few months after it opened up, obviously she was overwhelmed because she was still trying to do both jobs.
Yeah.
And so I came in and basically just asked if I could do an internship for the summer, help her out and everything like that. So I did good enough of a job that they kept me around for a little while. So they gave me a part-time job kind of as the marketing assistant, and I helped out with our programs and events, things like that too. So just kind of was her assistant and did a lot of things for her because obviously she managed the aquatic center and did those kind of things. So when she left, I just kind of stepped into the role of marketing director, and that was about, it's been 4 years ago now almost.
Jeez, wow.
I know, it's making me feel old. I've been at Park and Rec for about 7 years now. So, but yeah, 4 years ago I took over the marketing, and then actually just about a year ago, after John Hunt retired, I took over all of our programs and events as well. So I do that as well as our marketing now. So.
Wow, you know what? Y'all have so many events that y'all put on.
We do, and it's a lot of fun too, because everything that we're doing is benefiting somebody in the community, and we do really something for everyone. You hear this thing that, we've got something for people of all ages, but it's really interesting for me because I go off and I can see kids that are less than 2 or 3 years old having fun and doing things, and I see parents and kids, and I see older people. It's just really something for every single person in our department to do, which is fantastic.
Sure. I mean, and Heritage Park itself is very diverse in the amount of things that you can do there, from disc golf to soccer fields. So it's very interesting to see how much Cullman has really done to allow people of all ages to have something to do.
Absolutely. We're very, very lucky with our Parks and Rec because, we've been named one of the best park and recreation departments in the country 3 years in a row from 2010 to 2012 by the National Park and Recreation Association, basically saying that, we're one of the best for our size in the country. We've been top 4 for those 3 years. So we have really, really good facilities, and people come from all over the place to use them and see them. So people in Cullman are really, really lucky to have the facilities that we do, because if you go other places, I was the same way when I was a kid. I just thought, this is how everywhere is. But you go off to other places and you realize really quick that, they're not nearly as blessed with the facilities and the things that we have here in Cullman with our parks.
You're totally right. So I know that y'all have offered a lot of different programs this year.
Absolutely.
And a favorite that a lot of people enjoy is the Eva Bank Midnight Run, which I believe is coming up. Is that correct?
Yes, it is. It's coming up. It's coming up on August the 14th, and we're really, really excited about this one. I'm really excited about this one. This is actually one of the first events that I was ever in charge of a couple of years ago, and I'm a long-time runner. Used to do cross country in high school, so this is probably one of my favorite ones. But we're doing something really, really fun with it this year. It's going to be totally new. For those of you who have come out and run the race before, it's going to be something totally different. So we're really excited about it. We've done some kind of research on some fun, more trendy races, and you've got these things going on now. Color runs where you go and they throw the color powder at you, and people are just having a blast. It's like a party before and after the race. Well, I thought that was the coolest thing in the world. We went and ran 2 color runs, and I just thought they were fantastic. So then we go to this blacklight run down in Birmingham, and so went and checked it out, kind of saw how things worked out, and it was pretty much a color run at night, all right? And they have black lights turned on you, and the color powder they throw on you is this neon color,
That's exciting.
Bright green, orange, and pink, things like that. So we're going to do something like that here with the Midnight Run this year, and I won't give away all the details because I don't want to spoil it, but you will get messy, and I've had that question asked. People are like, do we need to wear something that we're going to get dirty with? And the answer is yes. So expect to come and get things all over you. It's going to be a lot of fun. We've got color powder stations. We'll have black lights on the course. We're going to have a glow party before and after the race. It's going to be a lot of fun, very high energy, a lot of fun. So if you're not a 5K runner, you just want to come out for the fun part of it. It's really, really cool, and especially at midnight in Cullman for something that high energy and exciting is really fun to watch. So
now, how much is it to participate?
It's $25 to run. And that will get you a T-shirt. Is basically just going to be a white T-shirt, so when you run, all these colors will stick to you really well, that sort of thing. So we'll have a T-shirt for you, a goodie bag. You'll get to run the race and everything like that. And for more serious runners, too, this is going to be a good thing about our race. A lot of these more fun races don't do the official timing. We're still going to time it. We're still going to give away cash prizes for our winners. We have like $250 cash prizes that Eva Bank donates for our winners. And so these more serious guys can actually bypass around these color stations if they're more worried about their times and things like that. They can kind of bypass those so that they're not in the middle of all that craziness, and they can learn more about those times.
Now, is there a male and a female winner?
Yes, we do a male and female winner. Both of them will receive $250. We actually do a master's division that's 40 and older, and they'll receive $200 for winning. And then we do age groups from then on. It's every 5 years, and so if you're top 3, you'll get a medal in your age group.
That is pretty awesome.
Yes.
So if people want to find out more information, should they just give Cullman City Parks and Rec a call?
Yeah, they can give us a call, or they can go on our website at cullmanrecreation.org. We got a big page kind of explaining everything about the Midnight Run. This is, again, one of my favorite events, but I think it's going to be a lot of fun. It's going to be August 14th over at the Civic Center, so the finish line will start there, running through downtown Cullman with black lights and glow color everywhere. So it's going to be really, really fun. High energy. We got a great DJ coming in, and we'll have a lot of free giveaways and fun things before the race. So it's going to be something people won't want to miss.
Well, good. We have time to get in shape for that.
We say that, but have you seen me?
Yeah. Absolutely. It takes a little while to get in shape, it's a little bit more than what people think. But anybody can do it, even if you just want to come walk or run part of it or whatever you want to do. It's a lot of fun.
It does sound like a lot of fun, and those different 5Ks are really popular right now.
Absolutely.
Yeah, all over the place.
They had almost 10 or 15,000 people at this blacklight run that they did in Birmingham, so it was a phenomenal success. And we actually went to another one that was at Talladega and had probably even more than that. So, fantastic turnout for some of these runs. We're hoping to have a great one here, and I think it's a lot of fun because people see some of these in these bigger cities and they're thinking, things like this don't happen in Cullman, so we're hoping to kind of bring that back home for people to do in Cullman and be able to say, hey, I get to drive 5 or 10 minutes, to go do this instead of a couple hours. So that's kind of what we're trying to do here with this.
Well, definitely hold that thought. If you'll join us in just a minute, again, we'll be back with Mr. Harbison, and we'll be right back.
I'm Jay Mullins with Premier Bank.
And I'm Jacob Mullins.
For more than 26 years, we've been providing friendly personal banking services to the citizens of Cullman and surrounding counties. We continue to provide new and improved services to our customers, and we even have a new look. So come by and see us at any of our 9 convenient locations. And remember, the same friendly personal service, and we're open on Saturdays.
Black and white is not a life lived. Today, I choose color. To see it, to feel it, to be in it, to be upon it, and to live a life surrounded by it. Today, I put on a fresh coat.
All right, and we are back, everybody, with Waid Harbison, and we are talking with him about Cullman City Parks and Rec and the different things they have going on. Absolutely. And I know this weekend we have the ASA archery tournament coming to town.
We do.
So.
Yeah, that's a huge event we do. We've actually had this, this will be our 4th year now to have the ASA archery tournament in Cullman, which has been a huge thing for the city. It's really been a great thing. The ASA is the Archery Shooters Association, so they're the national group that basically does bow hunting is what it is. So they do 3D archery targets. It's very, very cool because a lot of people think archery and they're thinking the little 2D circles on the paper kind of thing. And so actually, this event is so much more dynamic and exciting than that. It's really fun to watch these guys go out there and compete. And I never knew anything about this before we started doing it, and it's just really a lot of fun. And the amount of money that they're going to competing for is huge too. But they basically put these 3D targets that are pigs and deer and things like that you would kind of shoot in the woods, and they put them out basically in the middle of the woods, and they have an archery lane that they're shooting through. And they don't know the distances, so it could be 20 yards, it could be 50 yards. They have to kind of gauge the distance and adjust their shot accordingly. And so some of these guys are in the amateur division, they have a professional division, but they give several $100,000 away in prizes every single year, which is fantastic. So huge deal for it to be here in Cullman. This year we're actually probably going to have a little bit more archers than we have had in the past. We've had about 12 or 1,300 archers from pretty much around the world. Last year we had 11 different countries represented here in Cullman for this archery tournament. They were from Britain, New Zealand, Australia, China, all over the place. And this year we're looking at probably having 1,700 to 1,800 archers here. So you're talking probably about 5,000 people in the city staying here for the weekend. All of our hotels are booked up, and a lot of these guys are staying in Decatur, Hartselle, anywhere they can find hotels that are close to here. So.
That's incredible. And I know they're really competitive.
Absolutely.
A lot of people may not know about archery and how competitive it can be.
Well, the first year we did this was in 2012, and the Olympics were going on then in London. So you had a lot of these good archers, going there and everything. Well, a lot of these guys passed up going to the Olympics and shooting in the Olympics to come shoot here because the money was more. Obviously you don't win a whole lot of money in the Olympics other than some, deals and things like that, sponsors. But some of those guys are passing up that money and that kind of glory to come here and win these archery tournaments. So it's a pretty big deal when you're sitting there and we were just kind of watching the Olympics as we were setting up, and all of a sudden some of these archers start talking about these guys that they know and everything, and they're talking about how they just passed up being at the Olympics and everything, and you're kind of like, wow, this is a really big deal.
Yeah, that's incredible. So will we have the archery tournament for the next 2 years?
Yes, we do have another contract. We were able to renew our contract for 2 more years, which has been a really, really good thing for Cullman. It's a very big economic impact on the city as far as people staying at our hotels, eating at our restaurants, and going to our local businesses, things like that. And actually, the Chamber's been involved helping us kind of promote downtown a little bit more with our businesses and things. So it's been a really good thing to kind of promote downtown and get more people into the city. So it's been a fantastic event.
It's definitely beneficial as far as tourism is concerned.
Absolutely.
And, for all of our businesses, all of these out-of-town visitors coming into our area, staying, at our hotels,
Absolutely.
eating at our restaurants, shopping at our stores. It's just giving Cullman so much exposure. So I'm sure that has a really great economic impact on the area.
It does. And, the other thing about it is just kind of the scale of the event. Really, to me, it's one of the biggest things that happens in Cullman every year. And a lot of people don't realize that it's going on because we do it down at St. Bernard. They're kind enough to let us use their running trails down there is where we have all the archery lanes going off of. So it's easy to walk, access down there and everything. But this is the biggest scale sporting event that we're coming to Cullman. You got hundreds of pro athletes that are here for this event that are coming and competing for large-scale money. So it's just really, really cool to say, hey, this huge event is going on here in Cullman, just here in our backyard. Right. So it's really, really cool.
Now, is there any prerequisites that you have to enter the tournament?
Yeah, there's ASA has a state organization in every single one of the states. So basically, if you hit certain marks or certain standards at those meets, you can qualify for this. But they do those all around the world too. So they have those. The Archery Shooters Association does the same thing in Australia and things like that. So all these guys that are good enough to come to these tournaments can come and basically compete in it. But they have a series of these 8 tournaments every single year that start in February. Right. And the championship will be not this tournament, but the next one that's going to be going on. So this is kind of everybody's last chance to come in and get a good score and everything like that before they go into the championship. In the championship, they give away Shooter of the Year awards, where basically they add up the totals from everybody's 8 tournaments and see who the best one is, and that person wins a substantial amount of money. So on the women's and the men's side. So it's a really, really good tournament, really good thing. But some of these guys have been shooting for 20, 30 years. Some of them are new. So it's interesting to see how they're coming in. And it's a really, really nice sport too. I'll say that it's very much a lot of sportsmanship going on between these guys. They're friends. They talk to each other, see each other all the time. So very cool sport to be down there and see everybody getting along and kind of happy with each other. So
now, is this just one division, or is it broken up into?
It's broken up into several different divisions. You have the pro and the amateur division. So it's kind of like a big golf tournament that you would do, where you have the professionals and the amateurs division. But there's actually, with the pros, you have obviously your women's and your men's and your masters divisions for the older archers. The amateur, they have several different divisions and scales, and after you shoot certain scores, you move up to the next level, that sort of thing, until basically you can work yourself up into the pros division.
So is there anything like price-wise that you would have to know before you'd come to the?
As far as entering the tournament, the Archery Shooters Association handles all of that. So they charge different amounts for the different levels of archers. Obviously, it's going to cost more to shoot in the pro division than it would. And a lot of these guys have huge sponsors like Hoyt, Matthews, people that make bows and that sort of thing. They're sponsoring these pros. And I'm wearing a McKenzie shirt right now, so this is from one of our past archery tournaments. But they sponsor these big pro guys, just like you would see anybody else be sponsored by an athlete. And so it's really cool because all of these big bow manufacturers, they come to the archery tournament and they'll set up. And so when these pros win, if they won with the Hoyt bow, everybody wants to go over there and buy a Hoyt bow. Some of these younger new guys. So it really helps them out their business and everything like that to do that. So they do step up and sponsor a lot of those guys. So obviously they're not paying for the entry of the tournament. Right.
So with a tournament like this, I can only imagine with the amount of people coming through, you'd have a ton of business just within that area.
Absolutely.
In terms of sponsorships and I can only imagine concessions that were there.
Sure, absolutely. So, yeah. It's the big thing for the archery tournament is we do have a lot that goes on down at St. Bernard. If you go down there, it's almost kind of like a little city set up down there we've got tons of food vendors and lots of archery vendors and just people selling things and doing things, and there's lots of stuff going on down there. We're shuttling people around to the archery ranges, and you've got 1,500 cars parked there at any given time, so it's a very bustling place, very big thing going on. So the Archery Shooters Association does a great job. St. Bernard is partnering with us. They do a fantastic job helping us out, providing the facilities. They volunteer some of their staff to go out there and help out, and of course the City Park and Rec kind of leading the effort and putting on the tournament and everything like that. But really the big thing about the archery tournament, and like Natalie hit on it earlier, is just the huge economic impact it has on the city. And really, Park and Rec, we like to bring in these big events. We've done things like the state swim meet in the past and things like that. But I think the more things like this that you bring to Cullman, obviously, the better of an impact that you have. The more we can build up our businesses and grow and become something bigger in Cullman. So
Definitely.
Fantastic. Well, before we end here, I do have to ask because everyone always asks me. You were again working with the Cullman Parks and Recreation Department.
Absolutely.
Is it anything like the show?
Is it anything like the TV show? Yeah, it's a little bit like that, maybe. I love Parks and Recreation. That's my favorite show, hands down. There's some big differences about it. It's funny because you see kind of how most Park and Rec departments work, and a lot of them do work like that. We work with a lot of other Parks and Rec across the state. And Cullman's very unique because we're very forward-thinking. We're very kind of go-getter, and we kind of have our own park board, and we're trying to raise our own money and things like that. So we're a little bit different than that, but it's a lot of fun, like the TV show is. We joke with each other, and obviously when you're working around fun and playing with kids all the time, and even fun activities, it's going to be a fun environment always. So it's a lot of fun.
Okay, so not exactly the same.
Not
but
exactly.
Fairly
There's no Ron Swanson sitting there that's exactly against the
he's
government
my favorite.
that doesn't want to support the Park and Rec department. We do have good leadership from that level, so but it's just a little bit like that show.
Well, again, we do appreciate you being on the show.
Absolutely.
And it was
Thank you for having me.
Thank you for telling us about it. And if you'll join us in just a moment, we'll be right back.
I remember the moment.
I'll never forget that moment.
That moment?
It was a moment that changed my life. I'd been training with my team for months, and now we had been called up for the first time. The real deal. Wildfires were getting dangerously close to homes. At that moment, I got my first taste of just how important the Guard is to my community.
See how the Guard can be an important part of your life at NationalGuard.com.
Have you been online to see our brand new website? Go to mycullmantv.com. There you can find links to see a live stream, notes from today's shows. You can meet our sponsors and even meet us here at the station. But don't forget about that Meet the Sponsors link. There you can see advertisements from the sponsors that help keep us on the air. You can also click on the links to go to these sponsors' web pages. My Cullman Television. Let's discover Cullman together.
Homes by home refinancing offers from telephone solicitors and direct mail advertising, and then find you're not qualified for a specific plan? The Mortgage Center, a hometown lender, compares the rates from all home loan lenders and the qualifications of the various government programs to find a plan best suited to you. The Mortgage Center helps Cullman County people purchase and refinance their homes.
This is Pat Moody. Call us today and let us tailor a loan program to your specific needs and requirements.
And we are back, and guess what time it is?
What time is it?
Well, guess literally what time it is.
Is it time for the Facebook?
Obviously, it's time
okay,
for the
cool.
Facebook.
I was very scared for about 8 moments.
You should know by now. It is time for you to call in and win those awesome prizes. You just have to tell us one thing. Who is
the sponsor of the day? Exactly. And if you don't know by this point, I mean, obviously you haven't checked Facebook, which is, it's terrible. You should do that. You should definitely check out and see who the sponsor of the day is. They're fantastic.
Yes, so call us right now. Now is the time, and win those prizes.
Exactly, because if you don't, someone here will, and that you only have yourself to blame. Well, in other news, all right, so here's a name that we have and have not heard in the news in a while. He was kind of big for a while in the news, kind of disappeared into obscurity, and now he is back. Bill Cosby, the acclaimed household name and big family supporting actor from The Cosby Show,
Yeah.
a wonderful comedian, by the way. He has stated that when it has come to the accusations of more than a dozen women that have come and talked to him.
It seems like those women are just, there seems to be one every day, just a new one.
For a time period, they're absolutely. He has admitted to pursuing younger women. He's stated that he did indeed also use drugs like Benadryl and Quaaludes, which is also known as a more so legal date rape drug, which is terrible. He has admitted to using them. Now, in his statement, he has stated that it was completely consensual, that the women he had pursued were okay with the drug use and were okay with the sleeping. And he had admittedly tried to keep it away from his wife.
Yes,
which
I think it's
terrible.
Well, yes, definitely. But apparently he's had, relations with at least 5 other women outside of his marriage, and even though he claims that these acts were consensual, several of the victims have claimed that it is definitely not.
From the very beginning of this whole scandal, they have stated that this was completely outside of their comfort zone. It was something they had already expressed before they had even started a relationship that they did not want to do, and Cosby had sort of forced himself onto them in this situation. So it's a terrible thing to hear. It is semi-comforting in the sense that he has admitted to it, so we're starting to see some truth come to light about the situation.
Yeah, but what's unfortunate is how long it's been. It's been in the news for a really long time, and it's finally gotten to the point where he's at least, having to own up to some of this. And, I grew up watching The Cosby Show, and even though, his actions himself are very obviously kind of horrible.
Yes.
People grew up loving that character, and so, to see someone do that, it's kind of hard to kind of wrap your mind around.
And but it isn't the first time a family beloved character has had something happen to him. Pee Wee Herman had something happen with him years back. There's been a ton of characters, beloved household names that people watch that have done this, and it only makes you wonder if there's any stress that adds to it. There's never an excuse, but you never know if there's something underlying for these issues.
That's true. Well, and also in other local news, attorney Melvin Hastings, he, as we mentioned earlier in some of the past shows, he has filed a lawsuit against Governor Robert Bentley over the removal of the Confederate flags at the state capitol. So
right, he stated that the governor of the state of Alabama has overstepped his authority in the subject. So I find that odd. He's filed various actions to sort of make this lawsuit go through, and I find it very interesting about the subject matter for this because again, it comes back to the removal of the Confederate flag from the Capitol steps, and not just there, but the overall banning of Confederate flags at most public or official buildings and state buildings. And I don't know how I feel personally. I'm kind of conflicted in the sense that we live in a country where we have the freedom of speech and we have the freedom of expression. And though I understand the concerns with the Confederate flag, I'm not sure if it's hubbub enough to want to actually just tell people that they can't do something, because the moment you tell someone they can't do something is the moment you see the incidents like we have now. All of the displays, all of the rallies. Is it really worth the cause that they're going for here?
Right, and the Confederate flag is a part of our history. It's something that you can't wipe out. It is a factual piece of our history and founding.
It is,
and
yes.
So, a lot of people feel that it's very important to preserve that heritage and that history. And then you have other people that just feel it's, a symbol of racism and just inequality. So you have both sides there. But, Melvin Hastings, he has made this motion, and
Yes.
We'll see how it plays out.
And again, he has filed an amendment to the original lawsuit, which names the Sons of the Confederate Veterans as plaintiff. He removed himself, but he's making sure himself the Sons of the Confederate Veterans attorney in this lawsuit. So he is their
attorney.
He is their attorney. So, and again, not to say that this is true, but there is an incident where there might be also some underlying factor of his motive behind it, because if he wins this suit, depending on how this plays out, he could be making some decent money into that. And again, I'm not saying that again to say that that is completely true, but when it comes to large public cases like this, you always have to look at all sides of this. And this is just an odd time and place for someone to step up and really be like, this is how it should be done. So,
a lot of people really respect, the notion that he has taken those. So, we'll see how that plays out.
Definitely.
But in other news too,
Tim McGraw gives mortgage-free homes to veterans. Now, he has always been a strong supporter of the United States veterans. Has done many concerts overseas in honor for them and with service of them. Works with them, but he's not only worked with veterans. He's worked with the homeless. He's worked with the Feed the Hungry Foundation. So he's always been a very giving guy. But in this particular sense, he is, and it was around Independence Day this year, he gave 36 homes to veterans that were mortgage-free. And that's fantastic, because that's a huge deal for people.
Yeah. And
mortgages are a hard thing to take care of.
Oh,
and many people know that.
And he's handing out one home per stop on his nationwide tour. How cool is that?
That's the Shotgun Rider Tour that began at the beginning of July. Apparently, he has given out 108 homes so far in 30 states.
That's just amazing.
That's a ton. I mean, that's...
we talked about Leo DiCaprio donating $15 million to some of those wildlife funds, and I think it's wonderful that these celebrities that are in really great positions, they can give back to society in some way.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, and again, commemorations to him. The fact that you're actually, he's doing something like this, it's a great deal. A lot of people respect this gentleman, so it's good to see him giving back, especially for people who have given so much for us. I mean, as you saw in the photo, the gentleman was paraplegic. That's a huge sacrifice to give, your ability to walk. So good for them. I'm glad that these people are getting the kind of benefits that they deserve.
Absolutely, yes.
Even if it is this small piece, for what they gave up. I'm very glad to see that this is the kind of action taken. Well, now is my favorite part of the show. It's the part where we get to talk about the weather, which is indeed brought to you by Mitch Smith Chevrolet. Make the switch to Mitch. All right, well, it looks like we're looking at a high of about 91, similar to yesterday, and a low about 71. The record high was set in 1926 at 103, which is where I would melt. In 1947, the record low was set at 59 degrees at the end of July. That would be terrible. Sunset tonight is at 8:05 p.m. with sunrise tomorrow at about 5:36 a.m. before my eyes will be open. All right, looks like we're again looking a little spotty going towards the Gulf there, but nothing too big towards us. So look, what will be fairly clear. Maybe 1 or 2 pop-up showers for this week. Nothing too serious right now, at least. We are looking at mostly cloudy with some slight chance of rain today. Looking at about a 60% chance of precipitation today. So we are looking for rain at some point today, but don't look at it too heavy. We're looking at a high of 93 today with a low of 71 tonight with a 60% chance as well. And tomorrow looking at about the same, 86 high, mostly cloudy, scattered rains. So, we're looking at something fairly interesting. Mostly rainy throughout this week, though. That's the sad part. I hope nobody had any plans, because it looks like we're going to see fairly cooler weather both during the day and at night, with it looks like Saturday being the only day that we'll have some peaking sunshine there. So if you had any plans for the weekend, Saturday would be the day to focus them on, because outside of that, you're probably going to get wet.
Yeah, see, I got my rain that I wanted, so yay.
So again, we're going to blame you. Absolutely blaming you.
I'm sorry, it's just too hot.
We live in Alabama. We're supposed to be sunshine and happiness, not rain and gloom every day of our life.
I'm not gloomy. I just like the rain.
Yeah. You say that now, but I know what your secret plan is. You're trying to make all of us wet, so we have to be sad and then have to move.
You're funny.
Well, join us in just a moment. We'll be right back with more.
Have you been online to see our brand new website? Go to mycullmantv.com. There you can find links to see a live stream, notes from today's shows. You can meet our sponsors and even meet us here at the station. But don't forget about that Meet the Sponsors link. There you can see advertisements from the sponsors that help keep us on the air. You can also click on the links to go to these sponsors' web pages. My Cullman Television. Let's discover Cullman together.
I remember the moment.
I'll never forget that moment.
That moment?
It was a moment that changed my life. I'd been training with my team for months, and now we had been called up for the first time. The real deal. Wildfires were getting dangerously close to homes. At that moment, I got my first taste of just how important the Guard is to my community.
See how the Guard can be an important part of your life at NationalGuard.com.
Is not a life lived. Today, I choose color. To see it. To feel it. To be in it. To be upon it. And to live a life surrounded by it. Today, I put on a fresh coat.
And now it's time for our community billboards. And that is sponsored by Pepsi and Cullman Jefferson Gas. Sensory-friendly movie showings, that is every Thursday at 10 a.m. at Carmike Cullman. $4 includes popcorn and a drink. And on July 30th, they will be showing SpongeBob Out of Water.
And hand embroidery class at the North Alabama Agriplex is July 23rd at 6 p.m. Participants learn the basics of hand embroidery and create an embroidered tea towel to keep. So definitely call the number on the screen and check out that email and get as much information as you can.
Vacation Bible School at Daystar Church is going to be July 19th through the 22nd at 6:30 p.m. It will be the night at the movies. Register at kidspowercompany.org/kidfest or call Steve Patrick at the number listed.
July is Bring a Friend Month. Bring the most friends to your center to win a prize at the end of the month. That applies to each center, and this is brought to you by the Commission on Aging.
Fall gardens and cover crops for the home gardener at the North Alabama Agriplex, August 4th at 6 p.m. Call 256-297-1044.
And the cookbook fundraiser brought to you by the Women of Faith Group Garden City Church of God. The proceeds will benefit the church's food bank, and these are $12.50 each. So feel free to call Miss Rhonda Davis or Miss Patsy Kennedy with the numbers on the screen, and definitely check those out.
And again, you can visit us online at mycullmantv.com or send us an email at mycullmantv@gmail.com or give us a call at 256-734-7399. And please like us on Facebook. And again, we are sponsored by Pepsi and Cullman Jefferson Gas. And we are wishing you a happy birthday, Karen Hassel, Richard Means, Johnny the Flash Thornton. And we'll be doing that drawing on Friday, and that weekly winner will receive an ice cream cake from Dairy Queen. And we'll have a anniversary of the week winner that will receive a $15 gift certificate from the Candle Garden.
Love Candle Garden. And again, our sponsor of the day is Night Free Insurance Agency, providing insurance coverage for over 3 generations. Definitely find those guys. They are wonderful people and wonderful gentlemen to work with. And again, if you haven't done so already, like us on Facebook. It is very important for us to hear from you. We're a community-driven business, and we want to hear from you. Help us help you know what you want to know. That's the only thing I can say.
Definitely. Well, hopefully, they'll get online and keep up with the sponsor of the day and give us a call.
Because you don't want to miss those wonderful prizes. We give them out every day, and the only way we can give them to you is if we know you exist.
Exactly, definitely.
So we have some interesting stuff coming on tomorrow. We have Outfitters of Cullman going to be on the show, and they, if you're unfamiliar with that, you've seen these types of businesses before, but never quite like this one. They are in Alabama, Auburn, and perhaps a few other
college
SEC
teams. Yeah.
They're a collegiate store, and they're fantastic. They'll probably have everything from T-shirts, decorative rugs, that kind of thing. They're going to be here in Cullman. They're going to be local to us. It's going to be faces you know. Friendly service. It's going to be fantastic.
Yes,
I'm
and
looking forward to seeing them.
we're going to be catching up with them tomorrow and hearing about the different merchandise that they have. You know, football season is not that far away.
No, it's not. And that's
so
always a busy time.
We are really excited to have him on the show and to have a local place to shop to support those collegiate teams that we love.
And probably something, you know, a little more reasonably priced than having to go all the way out of town to go find something. So it'll be great to have something local, somebody you can go and talk to, and if anything, just meet other fellow football fans, you know.
Exactly.
Well, again, we appreciate you stopping in with us today, and we look forward to seeing you. And again, I'm Jacob Murphy.
I'm Natalie Bonner.
And everyone here at My Cullman Television wishes you a happy day.
Before the dawn, there's gonna be rain. Before the rainbow comes out.